everybody. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. Only one world. And to some of you, good night. You probably need to sleep. Welcome to the New Harbor Studio. This show is called Hey! Let's talk about it. There's a reason for us to say hey, because there's so much to talk about. And so that's why we're here, to talk about any issue. It doesn't matter what the issue is, but we will need to talk about it. You need to find a solution, but we're going to bring the issues to you. We're going to bring the problems. Hopefully, you can get in touch with us. Call us at www or text us, right?
Yes.
Make sure that you like our program. And if you like our program, love it, subscribe to it, ring the bell, do everything that you can to continue to watch our show. And we, these two old men, will continue to bring you a good show.
He's old.
I'm old. And so,
I'm a baby.
Anyway, call us. If you want to write us, www. Hey, let's talk about it. Any questions, anything that you have. So welcome to today's show. We have so much to talk about, and we're going to go right into it. There's an awful lot of interesting things about nations. Some nations are considered to be your friend. And some countries believe seriously that that nation is your friend. However, there are some people that have a different view. My name is Chief Obidike. My co-host is Joel Spears. You have a different view on this nation loving another nation.
There's an old saying, I believe it was first addressed by Henry Kissinger. Nations do not have friends, just interests.
We bring that issue to you because the Prince of UK is in Nigeria. What the hell is he doing in Nigeria? What is he doing there?
Well, like you said, what are the motivations of Africa in general? Everybody wants the riches that are underneath the soil.
So you're thinking that this man is going to Africa to go ahead and make some kind of an arrangement to get the natural resources that is under Nigeria, that country, amalgamated country.
If somebody knocks on your front door, they have two objectives. Either they're a friend or somebody's selling you something.
I ain't buying. They're not friends.
If the British, the Americans, or anybody knocks on the door of an African country, your first question is, why are they here?
What do you want? So that's the same thing that we're really asking. What in the world are the British trying to do in Nigeria? Taking their colored wife, the prince. Well, she's colored. You know, she has a white husband. And
we call those African Americans.
African Americans.
African.
Half African Americans. Don't get mad. You know, we're for real. And we're talking about it. That's why we want you to go ahead and you have opinion about that? www. Hey, let's talk about it.com. Go ahead. So it just doesn't make any sense to me why they're there. I don't like the fact that they're there in the first place.
It's about money. It can be personal. Maybe they're hiding some money. There are a lot of places that you can go in the world where you can basically have some money stored away from the tax man of your society. I mean, Meghan Markle is an American citizen. I don't know legally what that means, but usually if you're born in this country, the federal government chases you everywhere.
And I understand that she claims to be a quarter Nigerian. Now, all of you know that there's no such thing. If you don't know, you can't be a quarter of anything. I know that some people say you can be half a man or half, 10% of one thing or another. Mm-hmm. But a quarter Nigerian, a country with more than 200 million people, a country with more than 200 languages, ethnic groups, Which one are you part of? Fulani, most likely Fulani, which is the killers in the north, because they went to the north. They didn't go to the west. They didn't go to the east. They went to the north. So they're out there negotiating with imams.
Well,
Fulanis.
The way that I see it is there's things that we say towards our family and things that we say to people that are not. Okay? What is the way that she sees herself in the press versus the way she might see herself in private? I mean, you see it even in this country. You have a lot of black folks saying, oh, I'm a quarter Native American, Cherokee, black, whatever. And then they're black as me and, stuff like that. So people don't know what they're talking about. They just throw out numbers, but there's nothing to support that. And there's no birth certificate that says I'm 25% this. That's not the way. On my birth certificate, it says you're a Negro. At least that's what I used to be back when I was born in the 50s. I don't know.
And before that, there was some other call from Negro.
My family has a running joke because one time we had all of our birth certificates spread out. We were doing some family business. And my mother's birth certificate said Negro. My father's birth certificate said colored. And then mine said Negro. And we always joke around saying that we are basically, colored people. But it's
well, before that, they called them nigger. I mean, they called them. I'm so sorry, but that was a David Throne's slip.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Keep an eye on us. We're talking about it.
You're bad.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is your girl, BC Fana, with Africa in Demand. Listen, I'm excited for you guys to see our new show. It's going to be entertaining. We're bringing you amazing guests, and it's like a show like you've never seen before. So I want you to join me to watch our show, Africa in Demand, your gateway to everything Africa. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Africa in Demand, and we are going to entertain you. Stay tuned.
Well, anyway, we just want to make sure that we welcome you back hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the issues. There's no need to hide about it. Joel, there's something that keeps bothering me. Black people are in serious trouble. And I'm saying the African Americans are in a state of crisis. You said that.
Yes. Well, there's an old proverb, and I hope I get it right, that says that when white America has a cold, black America has pneumonia. So therefore, we're in a crisis financially and all the way through. We're going through a tough recession in this country. Everything costs, way more than it used to. Yet we don't see the focus on making sure that everybody is treated equally, that everybody has an opportunity to survive and advance. So,
just in case you don't know, I just want to check myself and make sure I don't have pneumonia, but black people in a state of crisis. Why are people just not listening? Why are people those people that are comfortable, so those African Americans that are seemingly comfortable in their state of being, why they can't see that overall black people are in trouble?
When I was a teenager, I was a lifeguard. And I always wondered, when people were drowning, why they never shouted. They would just sit there and they would literally, panic and splash.
And go down.
And you'd be sitting there and going, is that person having a problem? And it wasn't until you pulled them out the water and they're coughing and heckling and everything. And you realize, why didn't you say anything? They said, I was too busy trying to scream. And, so when people, I think, are in crisis, they tend not to, but you can see the red flags.
They cannot scream.
Yes, but
black people, maybe it's time that we start screaming. Maybe it's time to start making some noise. I mean, the Israelis and the Palestinians are having a war. The Israelis are going ahead and they are screaming and shouting. Now the world kept quiet while they were being slaughtered and murdered. But then, on the other hand, the Palestinians and the Israelis are murdering now, they're screaming. So why is it that black people are not screaming? Why are you not screaming? Just asking. Because we need to talk about it.
I think we are in our own way. Let's face it. Why is there so much violence amongst our youth? Why is it that our youth has the need to go out and commit crimes? You can sit back and say, well, if a person has a wonderful job back in the 60s and 50s when Black Americans were first getting into manufacturing jobs, did you have this kind of violence?
No, because you were too busy working.
Right. So that's a red flag. Something is going on. We don't have what do they call them? The three pillars of the economy. You had the professionals, the white collar workers, the doctors, the lawyers and stuff. Then you had the people like the secretaries, the policemen, stuff like that. But what was the foundation of the Black community and the other communities was manufacturing jobs. You didn't have to have a good education. You just had to have the desire to work hard, and you made good money. The neighborhood that I grew up in, we had the factory workers everywhere. They had beautiful homes, manicured lawns, beautiful cars, and you had one income supporting an entire family.
Now you need 4 or 5. You need to be a Jamaican.
So something has happened, and no one is saying anything about it. The Black community is sinking, and there is no address to it. So what is the solution to this country?
What is the solution? If you have a solution, we're going to hear Joel's solution. But I do want you to, what can we do about the sinking Black crisis, African American crisis? Send it to us. You're thinking. www.HeyLet'sTalkAboutIt.com. You want me to say it again? www.HeyLet'sTalkAboutIt.com. Joel.
Yes. Well, like I said, it's about jobs. It's about having the opportunity to feed your family. If you literally isolate me, now you go into the Black community today, and if I were to go into a Chinese restaurant in the Black community, how many of the workers in that restaurant are from my community?
None.
Oh, there's discrimination. So then you go to the local 7-Eleven, not to be ethnically sensitive, but it's usually run by people who are not from this community.
And you go to the Arabs, chicken and fish?
Yes.
You don't see any Black people there?
Right.
But why is it that Black people cannot create their own?
That is a good question. Why don't we have the relationships with the banks that other groups who come into this country have? So we are cut off, and we have to go through a process that no other group has to go through to get the resources, to get the funding, get the backing in order to open businesses. About the only businesses that are actually thriving in the Black community are immigrants.
So the banks are not our friends.
Not at all.
The politicians lie to us.
There are friends with benefits.
As long as they benefit, they're our friends. But we're not benefiting from them.
Yeah.
So we got a problem. Y'all remember this now? I keep bringing this guy up because he keeps he's campaigning with Black people, paying them the unemployed that he gets to distribute $38 an hour. He called us jigaboos, and you're going to vote for him. Remember that. And he is running against this Black woman. I don't care, really. It's up to you. I know who I'm voting for. And then they'll be going against the former governor of Maryland. That's going to be interesting to see. But we continue to talk about it. And Joel, I don't know what we can say to mothers, mothers, they're so great. I don't know what else to say for them.
Well, I fear.
I love you.
Yeah.
That's all. I believe in you, Mama. You got to find something to say to your mom today. But anyway, we're doing all this so that we can wind down. A lot of people to make sure that you vote. That's all I can tell you. If you don't vote, somebody else will make the decision for you. We'll be right back. Don't go too far. We will be right back.
If I set this place on fire, hold me down. Hey, 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 hey.
said to you before that we talk about everything. We're not just staying in America talking about American politics or even the American economy or the state of black crisis in America. We don't just stay there, or just the immigration issue. I've seen some actual construction workers yesterday. They were all immigrants, right in Maryland, and I saw the lady they were working for. I don't mind saying it, maybe Verizon. They were doing construction work for Verizon and digging holes in the ground. I mean, they were working. Mm-hmm. Despite the little bit of rain that was coming on, they were working hard. I was appreciative of somebody there because I'm a hard worker too when I was younger. And they brought the checks to them. Some lady brought a check. These immigrants looked at the check, and the reaction that they had amazed me. Ay, caramba. I mean, they were just looking at the checks, and their reaction was just, holy Moses. Verizon was paying them good money.
It gets back to the thing that we were saying before. If you were to look, all of a sudden, black American men are extinct in the workforce.
And I asked the question to the supervisor, where are the black men that need jobs? He just laughed. He said, well,
I was there.
He laughed at me for asking him of all the 15 or so construction workers, not one black person. They had women, it's Latino women, but not one black or white. So white people don't feel like you're in the loop. You're not.
Black America is basically being eliminated from the workforce. And here's the weird part. They want us to be consumers, but they don't want us to be employees.
Oh.
They don't want us to be business owners.
They want us to be welfare recipients.
Well, if you take a person to a point where they are relying on you for their survival, you got them.
You got them.
If they tell you,
so we got them.
You got to vote for this political party in order to eat and put clothes on your children, what are you going to do?
Well, I guess you either vote for him or not.
They used to call that in the old days the company store. You had that group of people who would work in the mines, and then the mining company had a little store. Oh, you don't have to pay any money. All you got to do is just sign this book, and you are in debt to the mining company, and it becomes literally what we seem to have the modern version of.
Oh boy, so, we're going to the World Bank now. But before we go to the World Bank, Joel, something is happening in Africa. America military forces in the continent of Africa are being chased out, literally. France is being chased out, actually. What does that imply? What does that mean? If America is being asked to leave, and how many American military bases are in that continent?
I can't remember. I believe the total of foreign military bases in Africa right now, at least the ones that are public, is around 15 international bases that are in the continent. How many of those are American? Supposedly the public ones, I believe it's around 3 or 4.
Yeah, well, we know one for sure.
Yeah.
France is over there. They're getting kicked out. Yeah. And you can't kick them out fast enough. Even what is other countries that are there? There are other countries that are in.
Oh, you have China, and
China is there.
In Djibouti. Yeah, they have a military base. You have.
What'd you say? Who's booty? Oh, Djibouti.
The big booty.
He said it. He said it. So, yeah. But it's a serious problem, and we're talking about it. So a little bit of just to make a little humor out of it all. But if America leaves Africa, move the military bases out, bring the troops back home. We've been fighting wars and wars and wars, and I don't think we've won even any war. So what will happen to that country? No, what do you think?
Well, because again, where's all the world's resources of oil, gold, and all the minerals to run our cell phones and our standard of living? It's in Africa. So the United States might talk publicly about, but it's a chess game. We can't leave. America cannot afford to have Africans in charge of Africa. We have to have.
Oh, America cannot, and Europe,
Yes.
cannot afford to leave Africa to Africans.
No, that would be a security risk.
High security risk. So, what then does? Well, I hope that my people are listening. That we're not capable of handling our own self. You know, somebody was saying something about no matter what is taking place, like this prince visiting Nigeria, that there are some people within the country that are helping these other foreign countries do what they're doing to Africa.
Well, again, we get back to the thing. Do nations have friends? No, just interests. The United States must have the resources of Africa, and we must get it cheap.
But the United States have an abundance of resources.
Yes.
Why would they need Africa's resources?
Because we need more. And there are some resources.
Come on. You already have it. That's why I like Trump. Excuse me, I didn't mean to tell you that. But, because the man wants to take a look at what we have here and use what we have here in the United States instead of going to across the ocean and taking somebody else's land. And you know what? The people that are trying to do it in Africa, I'm just so thinking. We'll be right back. Don't get angry. We'll be right back.
Beautiful life. It's a beautiful life. We live that beautiful life.
What a beautiful life. All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. Beautiful life. We got it. Beautiful life. I got it. What a beautiful life. A beautiful life.
Welcome again, my brothers and my sisters, wherever you are. This is the Let's Talk About It show here at the New Harbor Studio in Washington, D.C. and the rest of the world. That's the studio here in Oxon Hill, Maryland. As we were saying in the last segment, Joel, military bases. And the government in various African countries, there is one that is trying to do something. Somehow or another, there's an organization called Ohaneze Committee on Reconciliation and Peace Building in Nigeria. Now, this group, they call themselves the leaders of the Igbo people. Nobody elected them. They just, put themselves in that position and
Appointed by God.
Appointed by themselves. Now, we were supposed to have a friend to come in, High Chief, Hyacinth Nwachukwu. My brother, you may have had a reason to not be able to join us today, but hopefully we can still schedule you to come and talk to us about this committee, this reconciliation committee. Remember the South African apartheid?
Yes.
There was Desmond Tutu, and so this is supposed to be another group in Nigeria who establishes this committee, and they call the Haneze Committee. It's a clarion call for national healing and reconciliation. After the war, there was a lot of people that really felt that there should be some kind of a peace. So the one Nigeria concept will remain the same. Now, you were mentioning something about that, and Most people know that Nigeria, there's no such thing as Nigeria.
Well, it's Africa in general. Black America is a very unique group amongst the African diaspora, because growing up in this society, the cultural backgrounds of our ancestors who were brought here was breeded out of us.
Yeah.
So
Culture was breeded out.
yes, exactly, and we have this.
Isn't that something?
So we have a different perspective. Where, as African Americans, we think of things racially versus the Africans who think of things culturally. I have no idea what is the difference between a Hausa, a Igbo, a Yoruba. Those are concepts that I have no understanding.
Well, I'll tell you that the difference is simple. Skin color. We have skin color.
Okay.
But the difference is culture.
Yes. So as an African American, what do I see? When I see an African, I think of someone who is, who I descend from. But what shocks me, if I'm in a room of different African cultures and I see one group upset with another, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me because I've been enculturized as a Black American, if that's the right word.
Whatever that means.
I see things racially. Okay, if you have white skin and you're from Europe, then or if you're Chinese, I don't see any other ethnic issues because we are. And so when I bump into an African, I just see you all as my brothers.
Africa.
Yes, I see you all as my brothers. So I don't get the argument, but. And we do have it here because even in this city, you have people from the east side versus the west side.
That's a little different.
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
But I want the audience to do something. www. Hey, let's talk about it.
www.
That's only 3 W's. Hey, let's talk about it.com. If you have a view on this difference between African Americans and people and those of us from Africa, please text it in. Send us a message. Give us your view. www.heyletstalkaboutit.com. And that way we can respond to you next week when we come back to the show. I'd like to thank you, my brother. Don't forget to vote. That's all I can tell you. Is there anything else that you would like to tell these folks that seem not to be paying attention? Old people are starting to talk to you. I'm old. And you're not listening.
My only add to that is that we as Black Americans need to come to the table organized and understanding that our needs are not being met. We're tired of the welfare game. We're tired of this. We need to make sure that we are being prepared for our future. 13% literacy rates from our children shouldn't be acceptable. We need something better than what we're being offered.
And the leadership that we have are not doing anything about it. I want to tell you about next week before you go. Next week we have a lady coming in, and she has designed a product that she would like to talk to you about. So we will have Dr. Jacques here next week. Don't ask me why she's a Black woman, in case you have a problem. I just want to make sure, because some people do have some problems. But I want you to tune in next week. She may not be the only guest next week, but we will have that. But we appreciate you joining us. Like us, subscribe, ring the bell. This is Chief Obidike and Jarrell Spears. Bye.